I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates.
And it's not rocket science to see that since her arrival and the rest of that 2024 class, the WNBA has skyrocketed.
Do you think people love Caitlin Clark besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before.
People don't know the legacy of us being able to play against each other for a really long time, but obviously social media is going to put two women against each other.
As the new WNBA season begins, all eyes are back on Caitlin Clark because she didn't just become a superstar, she changed the entire league. But not everybody in the WNBA reacted to that change the same way. Also, Caitlin and her rivalry, not only with Angel Reese, but Paige Bueckers, adds another layer to expectations this season. So, how do WNBA players actually feel about the lady at the center of it all? Well, it's only right that we start with one of the biggest names in women's basketball. And MVP A'ja Wilson had this to say in an interview when asked about the hype around Caitlin. It wasn't a hit at me, because I'm going to do me regardless. I'm going to win this MVP. I'll win a gold medal, y'all can't shake my resume. It was more so, let's not lose the recipe. Let's not lose the history. It was erased for a minute, and I don't like that, because we have tons of women that have been through the grimiest of grimy things to get the league where it is today. She, like many other veterans, just didn't like the fact that sports media started acting like women's basketball just got invented when Clark arrived. And honestly, that became the real divide around Caitlin Clark. Not whether she was talented, everybody knew she was talented. The problem was what her fame represented. Because overnight, Caitlin Clark became bigger than the league itself. And now, heading into this season, all 44 Indiana Fever games are nationally televised. That has literally never happened before. This can come off as distasteful to legends like Sheryl Swoopes, whom many considered as the Michael Jordan of women's basketball. And maybe that's something to think about when you hear what she said here.
This isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years.
That's why comments about Clark always felt bigger than basketball. Like when Kelsey Plum made the statement about Caitlin Clark's team not joining the protest. She later said it was a joke.
Do you want to talk about the Team Clark comment and all that?
Oh, I made a bad joke.
Yeah.
I made a really bad joke.
That's the pressure Caitlin Clark created around the entire league. Nothing stayed small anymore. All of a sudden, the players had to be extra careful about everything they said or did off and on the court. However, there's no denying that Caitlin Clark's presence would definitely be to everyone's advantage. Even people like Lexi Brown later came around.
And it's not rocket science to see that since her arrival and the rest of that 2024 class, the WNBA has skyrocketed. I'm not gonna act like it's not a coincidence. That's exactly what happened. So I think that people are taking this league more seriously. I think people are taking us more seriously as professional athletes. And I think if you consider that a culture shift, then I would say absolutely.
Absolutely no doubt that the growth wasn't fake. The league's valuation exploded. Expansion teams started arriving. Players' salaries jumped under the new CBA. Caitlin Clark wasn't just bringing attention to herself, she was dragging the entire league into bigger conversations. And for WNBA legends like Sue Bird, she believes that the women's league is experiencing what the NBA experienced with Magic and Bird.
And it's kind of like what Magic and Bird was to men's basketball. Like this moment, we kind of needed something.
This is
to
that
just
moment.
And Caitlin's that moment.
Sue Bird was pointing out that people weren't only tuning in for Caitlin Clark anymore. They were tuning in because the WNBA suddenly felt bigger than it had ever been before. And by bigger, she meant the rivalries and controversies. And wait until you hear what WNBA legends A'ja Wilson and Candace Parker have to say on that later. But first, let's talk about another legend, Kelsey Plum.
Oh, brother, I have too much to be thankful in life to hate anybody. But I'm hyped for her. I think it's great for the game.
Plum would later refer to Caitlyn as a very smart woman, which makes you wonder if there was really any hate. And even if there was, it would be hard to tell because fans online kept trying to turn every WNBA player into a jealous villain. Here's what A'ja said during the All-Star game.
So I'm curious to know how Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both handled pressure as first All-Star players tonight.
Yeah, I feel like they handled it well, just like a lot of rookies would. This is a big moment. This is All-Star break. That means that you're doing something good at the halfway mark.
A'ja Wilson could have easily dismissed the Clark hype, but it was clear the amount of pressure Clark was dealing with from day one. Because Caitlin Clark entered the league with an entire sport sitting on her shoulders, every game became national news, and every hard foul turned into a debate show segment. However, it must be said that some of those hard fouls got her injured, and those injuries didn't do well for revenue. And that's when Sophie Cunningham became important. After Caitlin got hounded in a game against the Connecticut Suns, Sophie became a hero when she did this.
Good hands by Allen, and Sheldon comes up with the steal. Sheldon going coast to coast, and we got another.
Then, when asked about how her jersey sales went up after the incident, this was her response.
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny what kind of people are attracted to. I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates.
And speaking of teammates sticking up for one another, lots of people were surprised when Angel Reese helped Caitlin Clark up while representing the country. The funniest thing about the Caitlin Clark controversies is that the internet kept trying to turn everything into hate. But Angel Reese made sure to take everyone back to where it all started.
I think it's just competition. It's been competition since college, being able to play against Caitlin. I've been playing against Caitlin since we were probably in 8th or 9th grade. We both were really competitive during AAU. I went to Maryland, she went to Iowa, so we competed there, and then finally being able to compete in the national championship.
That rivalry became the perfect storm for modern sports. Clark was the superstar shooter pulling millions of new fans into women's basketball. Reese became the emotional villain the internet loved arguing about. And together, they created something the WNBA had honestly never experienced before. Angel Reese made her stance clear on this point.
Obviously, social media is going to put two women against each other. And I think it's just been able to be something that is negative, but also positive. I think it shines light on women's basketball. So I'll take that of being able to be the person that gets the hate, but I know that at the end of the day, I'm growing women's basketball and helping women's basketball.
That's the part most people missed, that the rivalry wasn't destroying women's basketball. It was making people emotionally invest into it. Because underneath all the debates, both players understood they were building something bigger than themselves. And heading into this season, the rivalries around Caitlin Clark somehow got even bigger. Angel Reese moved to Atlanta. Paige Bueckers entered the league. The Fever became championship contenders. Every nationally televised game started feeling like an event. The WNBA wasn't built around one star anymore. It was becoming a league full of personalities, storylines, rivalries, and teams people actually felt connected to. Like, we all know Magic and Bird didn't just save the NBA because they were talented. They saved it because people picked sides. People argued and became emotionally attached to the rivalry itself. That's exactly what started happening around Caitlin Clark. And maybe the smartest perspective on this all came from Candace Parker.
My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. You think Cheryl Miller is resentful for me that I had a league to play in? No, she's being the mentor that she is, and she's supporting and loving and sitting courtside cheering on Juju Watkins. And I'm doing the same for Caitlin Clark and all the women in the WNBA.
At the moment, this is what every WNBA veteran needs to be doing, not only for Caitlin Clark, but all the emerging new personalities in the game now. It doesn't matter who opened the door. What matters is that everyone can now eat. It's not old stars versus new stars, but one generation opening doors for the next one to become even bigger. And heading into this new season, one thing has become crystal clear. Caitlin Clark didn't just become the face of women's basketball. She became the moment that it changed forever. And if you want to see how another player completely changed basketball itself, watch how NBA players actually feel about Steph Curry next.